Hi everyone and welcome back to Projectotron, the prediction site with a difference. We've already looked at France against Germany in the first of our quarter-final matchups, and now we're turning our attention to Brazil against Colombia. Rory, Brazil against Colombia, how do you see this one?
Yeah, this is I think the final stand for the hosts. I backed Chile to beat them. I really did think Chile would beat them. I thought Chile were very unfortunate not to beat them, and Brazil have pulled through. And there's always a danger with a host nation, and not to imply that there has been any, wrongdoing by any of the officials so far. If one team needs a bit of luck on their side, and it's the host nation, they're always the ones to get it. I mean, we saw most obviously with South Korea back in 2002.
Yeah. And Argentina 78, West Germany 74, England 66.
Even South Africa got a lot of allowances back in 2010. Their team just wasn't good enough to actually win the game, with a little bit of help. Which is why Colombia will need to be dominating in order to win this game. Now, I don't think they're going to dominate possession. I think Brazil are going to get the lion's share of the ball and the chances. But I think this Colombia team are more than disciplined enough, and they've shown that they're more than disciplined enough to actually go out and just stop them, because Brazil haven't convinced. I mean, even if we look at their record so far, win draw, yeah, and they got through on penalties, and that was a hairy penalty shootout too. They don't have enough for me to be deserved winners so far. Even if you look at all the 8 teams who are remaining, they are the least convincing. They are the least interesting, and while they do have plenty of talent and plenty of good players, they're still yet to play as a cohesive unit. They've got Neymar, they've got Oscar who can show up as well, and you can't say that these players won't do anything. But if they're isolated, and Colombia seem to be very, very good at marginalising any of the attacking talent coming towards them, then I can't even see them scoring. That said, I do think they will have the majority of the chances, which means that Colombia will have to be fairly incisive with what they get. They have arguably the player of the tournament so far, and James Rodriguez, love saying that name by the way, and they have plenty of goal threats too, and a very, very talented and dynamic midfield. That if they are tactically aware and just disciplined enough, I can see them getting a result against Brazil, and I can see it happening in normal time. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Colombia win. I don't think it will be more. I feel a bit. I feel it is a bit of a risk saying Brazil won't score, but I don't see them scoring. Not in this game. Colombia will be the strongest defence they've come up against thus far.
Yeah,
and I can see them limiting Brazil's opportunities, or clear-cut opportunities, and nabbing the win.
Yeah, I think the omens are bad leading up to this for Brazil. I really can't see them doing anything close to their best against this Colombian team. First of all, there are still doubts about Neymar, who seemed to pick up a little niggle in the later stages of the game against Chile. So even if he plays, he may not be fully fit. An even bigger loss for them, though, is Luis Gustavo, who's going to be suspended for this game. Luis Gustavo has been the sticky tape over the cracks in this Brazilian defence. He has covered up so many problems that the absent Brazilian fullbacks have caused, and he's been crucial for Scolari ever since Scolari brought him back into the fold after taking over again before the World Cup. The biggest problem for Brazil is that they're going to have to mark, I agree, the player of the tournament so far, James Rodriguez, and I don't know who's going to do it, because he's going to occupy that lovely number 10 space in between midfield and attack, and that's the space where Luis Gustavo usually operates. Now, when Scolari selected his squad, he selected some utility players such as David Luiz or Henrique, neither of whom are primarily defensive midfielders, and neither of whom, anytime we've seen them play, have looked convincing in that role. And other options might be maybe drop Paulinho or Fernandinho back to cover that space where Luis Gustavo would normally be, or maybe even you could say drop Ramirez there as well. I don't think any of those players are defensive midfielders. They're not destroyers. They won't have the tactical discipline or indeed the defensive nous that Luis Gustavo has to shut down Rodriguez occupying that space. And given that, he could run absolute riot. I firmly believe that he's going to dominate this game. And with that, I think that it's going to be 2-0 Colombia. I don't see Brazil scoring either. Colombia had the best record in South American qualifying defensively, and they've had a fantastic record so far in the competition.
Win.
All wins.
All deserved.
All wins, all deserved.
Yeah.
3 clean sheets.
Yeah, they're pretty...
This is an incredibly solid, incredibly well organised team. Peckerman has been incredibly impressive in how he's set out the Colombians. They've been the most consistent team in the tournament so far. And even though they've yet to face top opposition, I think that Brazil are not top opposition. And so I think that, especially given the space that Rodriguez is likely to get, I think they're going to progress, and I think they're going to score as well. So 2-0 Colombia is where I'm going. What about Projectotron?
Projectotron gave us a thrilling game. A come-from-behind victory for Colombia. But the game started off with a screamer from Hulk. Absolutely beautiful goal. Nothing Ospina, who's been one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament so far, can do about it. But then it was very, very clumsy. Brazil gave away a penalty that James Rodriguez scored to push himself further ahead in the top goal scoring category of the tournament. And then a timely winner from Jackson Martinez of Porto, to give Colombia a, well, not so surprise win, if our judgment is anything to go by. So yeah, pretty unanimous.
So we're all saying Colombia.
We're all saying Colombia in slightly different manners, but yeah, Colombia to progress.
Okay, there you have it. Our predictions are: were we saying Colombia progress 1-0 in normal time? I'm saying Colombia will progress 2-0 in normal time. And Projectotron dares to give the Brazilians a goal by saying the Colombians will progress 2-1. Everyone sees Colombia going through, everyone sees them being convincing, and everyone sees the hosts out at the quarter-final stage. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we're going to preview the second batch of quarter-finals. Enjoy the football.